Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the walkthrough. So I mentioned this a couple times by now and definitely alluded to it at the end of the last episode, but you can really go anywhere you want at this point in the DLC. Obviously, whatever you choose to do right now will be a little more difficult, and whatever you save for later should be slightly easier because we'll keep collecting fragments and leveling up, but at this point it's really not going to be too big of a difference. So just want to reiterate that you don't need to do things in the exact order I'm doing them if you play through the DLC again in the future. With that said, I decided we'll go toward Abyssal Woods today. That's this last area that's kind of shrouded on the map, because that is going to get us the highest number of fragments out of the areas we have left, so you'll be as strong as you can be for the remaining boss fights in the game. Getting to Abyssal Woods is a bit of an adventure. We're going to start from the castle watering hole grace right here, which we can reach through a stone coffin here in Shadow Keep. So I just wanted to show that real quick. This is really not too far in the Shadow Keep, so hopefully you know where we are. But basically you'd start from Main Gate Plaza. If you have the shortcut, you go out this way. Otherwise you go west here and clear all this out until you get to this bridge with all the flaming boat things on it. And then over here, it's going to be a ladder you can go down. Check behind this waterfall. Down the next ladder, and then in this next room there's going to be an illusory wall right here. You can hit or roll through, and then you just keep going down this way. There's going to be a stone coffin, and you take it to this area down here. So I'm just going to warp from this point. And then we can get started. Now, before we go anywhere, you're going to want to make sure you do two things before trying to clear this place in front of us, or at least recommended. So there's a dead furnace golem up there that is blocking the entrance to these ruins. We can reactivate it to make it move out of the way by tossing a hefty furnace pot into its head. It must be a hefty furnace pot. Even though the hefty fire pots do quite a bit of damage to them when we're fighting them, they're not going to work for turning it back on. Have to use the furnace one. To make those, you need the cookbook at Rundown Traveler's Rest and Gravesite Plain. Right here, that's where you get the cookbook. And then the other thing I highly recommend doing is making sure you clear Fog Rift Catacombs right here. Specifically, make sure you get the stone sheathed sword from there before you enter these ruins ahead. If you haven't been there, you can reach it super easily by going from Castle Front here and then just wandering through this little valley area. And that's how you get to the entrance. And the reason for that will be clear once we get inside here in a second. But yeah, just make sure you do those two things before you do these ruins. So go ahead and craft up like 3 hefty furnace pots. You could do 4 to be safe. I'm only doing 3 apparently. And there's a bunch of furnace visages around here. There should be 11, I believe. If I miss one, I apologize, but we'll go around and start working on that. Let me actually throw those furnace pots on my hotbar too. So that was number 1. And then there's also one like over by those ruins I'm not counting. So 12 including that one, but it should be 11, I believe, in these kind of just piles of dead furnace golems over here. There's 3. 4. I'm stuck. 5 and 6. 7. Hopefully I remember that. Gotta deal with the furnace golem now. It's gonna hurt. Stagger. 2. We get him to face this way so he falls into the open water. Jumped too early on that one. Uh-oh. Yeah, he literally turned all the way around for no reason. Ace me, coward. There we go. Down he goes. Also not counting the furnace visage that drops from this guy, so I guess 13 in total, but there's another one. We're at 7. There's 8. Where was I? I definitely feel like I'm missing some over here. Nine, 10. I for sure missed one. This is so embarrassing. Make one quick sweep for it, but not too bothered about it. Is the one way back by the start? Yep. There we go. That should be 11 unless I just miscounted and posting that mistake on the internet for everyone to see forever. Anyway, next we're gonna go this way, climb into this building here. I guess I should have specified, but we want 3 furnace pots because, well, 1 for killing that guy we just took out, 1 for waking up the other golem, and then also 1 for killing it. Spirit Ash there. I'm actually going to 1 extra one here, just to be safe. I feel like usually the second guy falls in a weird spot, and I can't land a clean follow-up furnace pot on it. So we wrap all the way around these ruins here, climb up on this broken wall, get a lost Ashes of War, and then up here to this balcony before you throw the furnace pot. Grab the smithing stone 8s, and then just want to wake it up. If you're quick, you might be able to get another furnace pot in there, but I feel like usually it doesn't work for me. That was rude. There we go. See, not a clean shot. I wanted to test something. What if I can climb back up here and throw one into its head? I don't see why this wouldn't work, honestly. Actually, now I kind of do. He's pretty tall. You just aim it real high. Okay. Ow. Okay, love fighting those as usual. Blood-sucking cracked here, and another furnace visage. Should be good on furnace visages, probably for the rest of the playthrough. All these poor animals it killed. Okay, so into this building here. Crack open the chest. Giant's golden arc incantation. And then over here, examine the altar, and you have the option to raise the stone sheath sword to the dark. So if you do that, whoops, it'll turn into the Sword of Darkness. This is, I guess, to go through the whole speech again. Almost an identical altar to the one that gave us the stone sheath sword back in Fog Rift Catacombs, except this one for you will either have black or white symbols etched into it. This is the first one we found since then, so I think that means it's always going to be the Altar of Darkness. But whichever it is for you, you can interact with it. You'll get the option to raise the stone sheath sword to the dark or light, which will give you the Sword of Darkness or the Sword of Light. You cannot turn it back into the stone sheath sword, but you can find the other altar that looks like this and change the Sword of Darkness into the Sword of Light and back again as many times as you want for free, and any reinforcements you have on the sword will persist every time you swap it. The reason I recommended going to Fog Rift Catacombs first is because you have to physically go to the other two altars to change the sword between dark and light, and going all the way to a hidden area at the end of some catacombs is just a huge pain. Massively inconvenient. So if you go through the trouble of getting the stone sword there, you can just go to this altar and the other one in Ancient Ra Ruins, which we haven't reached yet, but it's also much easier to get to, I think, than the Catacombs one, and just change the sword back and forth whenever you want. If you don't do that, and this is the first altar you found, then the stone sheath sword will be here, and that means you'll have to go to the end of those catacombs if you want to change the sword into one of those other variants, which kind of sucks. But that's all for these ruins. So let's just hop outside and travel down the river to the south. You should find the Recluse's River upstream grace right here. Rest up for the hell of it. Take these off too. And then keep following this path. Watch out for any jumps you have to make along the way. Like right there. I'm pretty much gonna ignore these guys. Some thin beast bones. Be careful about this one. It shoots a like poison projectile at you. If it hits you midair, you'll fall into that giant abyss and die. Here to the right, you got some fly mold, and then just turn around and go back the way we came. Going southeast. And up ahead here, there should be a huge group of enemies guarding a single item. Some smithing stone 3s, and then just keep going a little bit further and drop down to get to the Grace. I'll rest to reset them as well. So right next to the Grace on this wall is a hanging pot. You can shoot it down or use a shackle to get a bell bearing to drop. We're going to make our way down to it and get it where it falls way down there. But if you die between now and then, you can just hop down these tombstones right here to get to it super quickly. But I also just wanted to show you, you can knock it down right here for sure, it's no problem. But I wanted to show you just how far the range on the shackle is and that you can actually knock it down from all the way down there. So I'm going to save it. But we'll go northeast from the Grace here. And just stick to this wall on our right, all the way around to the end. So you see this corpse on the cliff, some fly mold, and then inside this cave you're going to get ambushed by some of those fly men. Grab the item there, and then I'm just going to run back out. Don't want to deal with them, don't have to deal with them. Back outside, we'll go north over into this clearing, some grave birds. Go. And then nearby them, there's a message here from Dryleaf Dane. Find my center under the cascading waters, and just below that, you can drop down to a ledge. Dryleaf Seal. And then drop down a couple more times until you're about even with the top of this waterfall here. And we're going to mount up again and follow this river upstream all the way to the end. Some somber, or a somber smithing stone 7, and a shadow tree fragment, and then you can just go right back to where we were. So back at the top of this waterfall, we'll go left and just start making your way down over here. Teardrop scarab down here in the water. Take him out. Somber smithing stone 8, and then we'll go southwest first. Human bone shard, check under the waterfall for what Dane was talking about. Get the dry leaf sets. And then right over here is where that hanging pot was, so dismount, use the shackle. Should just fall straight from above. There you are. Get the moldmonger's bell bearing, and then over here, corpse with glass shard. Once again, you can just take those tombstones to get down here too. If you found yourself in a situation where you did everything except getting that bell bearing, died somewhere along the way or something. But yeah, we'll just wrap around this river over here where the teardrop scarab was before. Ignore everything and then just go into this little mausoleum here. So this is an NPC called Rakshasa, something like that. That's what it looks like to me, but it's a made-up word as far as I'm concerned. Moveset's pretty simple. They're going to spam their Ash of War called Weed Cutter, where they just keep chaining together two really wide sweeps. They have a great katana. Not really super hard to dodge, but they're kind of hard to interrupt because of the poise. They also allow the boss to like keep inching forward towards you to keep up the pressure. Not fast enough that you can't just walk backwards to stay out of range though. After seeing it a couple times, it's pretty easy to gauge how far away you just have to stand, and how to time a counterattack between each set of two swings. Anything that knocks the boss down would be helpful here, but if you can parry, I think that's probably the easiest way to handle this fight. So yeah, let's get into it. You can heal once as usual. Yeah, this is probably not the right move. Don't you dare. Wow. Got stuck in the menu. I had a feeling when I walked down the stairs that I wouldn't be able to get the whole waterfowl combo off in time for the boss to... or the boss would recover before I could chain each stage of it together. And I was right. There's the Ash of War. Just likes to keep doing that and really just keep backing up and it's not going to hit you. But if you get caught in it, it's definitely a threat. There's the one heal. This boss is just really bad at gauging distance, I feel like. Actually, it's perfected it. Okay, down it goes. So you should get the armor sets and the great katana from that. The armor set lowers your damage negation a lot, but it also increases the damage you deal with it, which I think is pretty cool. With that, let's go back to Recluse's River downstream. And then just down here we can climb down the tombstones now. I would say, I feel like these tombstones are uncharacteristically safe compared to most of them in the game. But I have actually seen that dragonfly thing fall to its death. Not really sure how that works, but you know, what am I supposed to do about it? Call it in? So make your way all the way to the bottom, however you see fit. And we'll go northeast. Should be a little cave up here on the left. Scorpion livers inside. It's not the most helpful map right now, but... And from there you can go southeast and you'll see a couple of hippos here. We will take them out. Oh god. What if I didn't learn my lesson with the talismans last time? How funny would that be? Alright, there's one. It's crazy. I just no-hit that fight, isn't it? Your Shadow Tree fragment. Make sure you check this little island between the two hippos for some smithing stone 1s. Of course, you know, fresh character, just started the game. Make sure you run over here and grab those so you can get super fast +2 weapon. That's the strat. I'm done locking on. I never learn. What? That was a crazy tag team. I actually can see even less after cutting off the lock on. Just the best enemy type in the game, truly. Alright, Shadow Tree fragment number 2. Luckily is worth the trouble. Now, if you wanted to get to Darklight Catacombs from here super fast in the future, there's some tombstones you can see here on the edge of this cliff, kind of over by this waterfall. You can just climb down there and get to them from here. There's another way we can get to them though and clear more content, so I'll show you that, but in the future, if you just want to skip straight there, because that's the way that you actually get to Abyssal Woods through the catacombs that are down there, you could just go that way. But back at Recluse's River downstream, go south and really just follow this path down as far as we can go. Okay, goodbye. Alright, this part's a little sketchy. So there's a bunch of flies here, right? And any of them can land a grab attack on you, which obviously immobilizes you, and it has like a super long recovery time for you to stand back up too. And there's a curse blade here as well. So you see I got his attention. If you have any ranged attacks, try to cheese him from right here. Because otherwise it's really easy to just get like chain grabbed by the flies. But I'll drop down still, fight him normally. But just like don't rush out in the middle of this area up here is what I'm getting at. That was close. Yep, see, there you go. So this will just happen to you over and over again. It's very annoying. Alright, so once everyone's dead, go west up this hill. I passed by the guy that jumps out. And just keep going up. Take out whatever opposition runs up to you. Should eventually get to this altar with another revered spirit ash on it. And turn around and go up to this ledge nearby. Silver horn tender, and then go northeast up this hill. This guy does something, seems to buff them somehow. I don't really know exactly what it does, but not waiting around to find out. So clear those guys out, hop up here, get the man-fly ashes. Another one of these guys. Oh no, he did the thing. And then behind them, circle around the left here. Find a golden horn tender. And then you can make your way back down to where that curse blade was. I think there's a safe spot to drop down here on the left, but I don't want to risk it. And this time we will go southeast, and there's a little hole in the wall. Drop straight down through that, and then same thing, we'll just keep kind of platforming down all these ledges. Run past everyone until you get to the end, and then drop down. Straight ahead, you will find the entrance to Darklight Catacombs. So this is the actual path to Abyssal Woods, finally. I mean, I guess we've sort of been on the path this whole time, but clearing this catacomb will actually get us there. Real quick before we start this boss is a bit more intense than your normal catacombs boss. It has some pretty spammy incantations, so you might consider using a shield with like the Ash of War, Carrion Retaliation, or Thops's Barrier to dispel the boss's sort of constant spam of incantations. Definitely not necessary, but since this is a catacomb, you won't really be able to come back to the Grace easily once we get down there, so that's why I'm bringing it up now. Definitely doable without that though, so throw on a lantern here, go for this item up ahead. There's going to be an imp around the corner to the left. Grave Glovewort 5. Did I get the Grace? Yeah, I just upgrade my blessing. And then here, go down the stairs for another yellow Fulgur Bloom. A couple more imps in this room to deal with. Check behind the stairs, and you will find a lever in the dark, which turns on the lights. Dark light. Darklight Catacombs. Alright, so back out here. Completely forgot you existed, I'm not gonna lie. Down this next hallway off here to the left is going to be... Just remember that's there, I'll reference it in a second. But for now, hop over the railing onto this walkway, drop down through the broken bit here. You can hop up for a chest containing the Viridian Amber Medallion +3. Drop down onto the bridge here, and we'll go up to the south first. Take out the caster, grab these yellow Fulgur Bloom. See an imp back there in the corner. I'm just going to grab the Grave Glovewort 1 and ignore him and go back the other way. So that other pathway I just pointed out a second ago, if you were to go back in that corner with the imp, there's going to be a series of ladders and some more imps and stuff, and it'll just get you back up to where that other pathway was that we just instead jumped over the railing. So not really any reason to go back there. Instead, we go down the lifts to another dark room. Follow this path off to the right. Take out the imp. Go in this back right corner. There's going to be an imp up here on the wall. Yellow Fulgur Bloom, and then check between these two pillars. You'll find a ladder. Go right at the top, drop down into this room, and there's another lever that also turns on the lights. So we'll drop down on these stairs, then beast bone. Same thing here. We're not going to go through that doorway, just remember it's there, and I'll point it out here in a second again. But for now, climb back up to the top where we were before. And with the lights on, you can now see this little ledge down here that you can drop to. So we'll do that. Climb this ladder. Shadow Realm Rune 5. Take out the caster. And drop down. There's going to be an imp too. And a Ghost Glovewort. With that, we can come back outside to where we started. And over by the second set of stairs here. A little broken railing. Spot to drop down to. Here there's going to be an imp on the ceiling and a caster in the back right corner. I don't know why this guy just doesn't like to drop down. Swear I can reach it. Go. And then by the ledge, the Death Knight's armor set, which I'm very fond of. Each piece of it is going to increase the damage of Ancient Dragon Cult skills and incantations, basically any kind of lightning, by 2%, so an 8% boost if you wear the whole set. But with that, you can go down this ladder. And then before you enter this next room, there's going to be a caster to the right that likes to open with a super dangerous barrage that can easily stun lock you and kill you in one burst. So I'd pop in the room and bait that out, and then wait for it outside. There we go. It hurts a lot. Grab the Ghost Glovewort 9. He drops something. No way. Okay, so same thing here. If you go west up those stairs there, it'll be same situation as earlier. There's going to be a handful of imps to fight through, a series of ladders that get you back to the bottom of the stairs that we just recently turned the lights on in. So just backtracking, that little doorway I pointed out a second ago where we landed after the lever, got the thin beast bones, that's where it'll take you back to. There are a couple of yellow Fulgur Bloom that way, so if you really want them, you can go grab them, but I'm just going to ignore them and go east instead. Down another lift. So in this next room, there's going to be a giant cannon imp you can see up ahead there on this like elevated platform. We're going to sprint toward it and then take a left once we get to it and run all the way down a path to get to a safe room with a lever. It's dark in here, but you're safe to just sprint towards it while dodging that, obviously. But don't try to kill him from range. He does not have a lot of health. It's very doable to kill him with range. Just don't do it. Because he drops a great Ghost Glovewort, and it's going to be suspended in the air after you lower the platform if you kill him up there, so you won't be able to reach it. But come back to this room, pull the lever to turn the lights on in here, and it's also going to lower his platform. There we go. And I like to just hang out for a second because an imp will run over here to try to kill you. Now, while I said he drops a great Ghost Glovewort, the last time I ran through here, he just didn't drop it at all, which was super cool. So that led to me finding out that you can just jump to your death outside and respawn very close by at the Stake of America. That'll respawn him, and then he will drop it again, assuming you didn't pick it up the first time. So you can't just farm him for great Ghost Gloveworts, unfortunately. But you can still get it. Kinda sucks if you have to do that though, because you'll lose a rune arc if you had one, but it's probably worth getting him. great Ghost Glove Ward, I feel like. There we go. And we'll go back under this platform that we fell off of. Ghost Glove Ward 8, some more yellow Fulgur Bloom, and then back to where the big guy was, and we can drop down carefully behind him. This bridge is slightly narrow. And into here, open the chests. Big Mouth Imp Ashes. And then up this ladder. Usually after I see what an enemy is supposed to be called in-game, I remember it, but I still call these guys Cannon Imps usually. And their friends, the Lion Imps, look more like flowers to me, so... Especially like when they stand on their sword upright. It's like the stem of a flower. So I just call them the Flower Imps. It's probably pretty disrespectful of them. I can see why they attack me on sight, but... Not getting strong lion vibes, unfortunately. So once you grab that item, go south down these stairs, down one last lift, and it will be time for the boss. So this is Jory, Elder Inquisitor. Very weak to fire damage, slash damage, just about every status effect under the sun, honestly. Lightning also works well, because he's usually standing in water here. Now, the way this fight works is the boss will basically just spam you with 3 spells, that's it. There's a super wide golden arc, a bunch of smaller golden arcs, and the Spyro sorcery, which I think we've seen back in Bellarat. Maybe I'm misremembering, it's only in the last dungeon, but it basically just summons a little golden circle under you, and as long as you move away from it, you won't get hit by the spiral that pops out. But the big arc is super easy to roll through. The smaller ones are pretty easy, just run sideways to avoid most of them. And maybe roll a couple times if you have to. And again, for Spyro, you can usually just run in any direction to avoid it, which means you should run towards the boss and go for a backstab. When you get close to the boss, it likes to teleport away, so you're basically going to spend the fight running at it to get a backstab, try to get a charged heavy or any big hit on a wake up Ash of War or something, and then he'll teleport away. Rinse and repeat. Now in the middle of all this, he's going to occasionally summon some phantoms. There are small ones that can spam the small golden arcs, or a little flamethrower attack, and there's also a really big one that will immediately go for like a huge jumping slam. He basically spawns in jumping at you, so you want to be careful with the timing on that. Both kinds of summons will just disappear after a few seconds. If the small ones are close to you, you should be able to drop them in one hit pretty much, otherwise they're usually safe to ignore. The big one you'll need to be careful of and time your roll to avoid its slam, like I said. You can try to bring it down if you want, but they disappear so fast I usually find it's better to just keep rushing the boss to get those backstabs. And lastly, when the boss is starting to get low, maybe around 30% or a quarter health, it will summon 4 small phantoms and a single big one that is going to do a big spinning whirlwind attack while the small ones rush at you. I would just run away and try to use the tombstones in here as cover from any of the projectiles, and then running away will also just kill some time, so they should mostly despawn pretty soon after reaching you. And if not, you at least got them to the other side of the arena from where the boss was, so you can just run past them again and go backstab the boss again. That's pretty much all there is to it, so let's get in here. That's Spyro, you can see just running makes it a non-issue. Go for the backstab. He does do a little damage when he teleports too, see there? Kinda like Stell. Saw of course the big guy spawning in with a jump. Should disappear any second now. Oh my god. Okay. Now he disappears. I got stun locked by that fire bad. But I mean, he was almost dead. So you can see the fight's really not too bad. Actually curious. I wonder if them despawning counts as a death and would trigger the healing effect on this great room. Let's test that theory. There's the little guys this time. Oh, I thought I had another backstab there. Okay, here's the big group. I'm gonna stand behind this tombstone to avoid the projectiles. Big guy goes for that huge whirlwind attack. And now that they're all over here, the boss is unprotected, so just ignore him and go over here. See, the little ones have already despawned. All that's left is the big one. Not getting caught by the flamethrower again, that's for sure. And you can repeat this thing where he summons the whole group, but it's alright. Down he goes. A little slippery, but not much to it. Barbed staff spear for beating him, and then make sure you grab the grace. And I will rest up. Can probably level up too. 60 faith. There we go. Don't know what I'll level next. So, we don't have the map for this area, but you can see where we need to go to get it, way down here. It's pretty straightforward to get to, though. So, the tough part is we cannot use torrents in this area. If you try to mount up torrent right around here, you get knocked off. Try to summon torrent again. Spectral steed is frightened and cannot be summoned, so on foot. This place has pretty bad vibes, and Torrent just really isn't feeling it. Can't really blame him at all. There's a bunch of creepy messages too. Just a really rough neighborhood all around. But we're just gonna go south until we reach a grace. I like the atmosphere of this area. It's cool. It's a creative idea, but it is entirely too big. And I'm torn on the next thing I'm about to say, which is the fact that there are like literally 5 items or something in this entire region, which is crazy. But at the same time, I'm also kind of glad that like you don't have to spend any more time in here than you already do. But it just feels like too much. I don't know. Up ahead, there's an NPC called Matting Hand. He runs like a whole route. You can crouch and wait for him if you want, so you can get like a backstab. Oh, he turned around already. Okay. Thanks for me. Just be careful. Try to stay close to him so you don't get spammed too hard by the long range frenzy incantations he has. It's very easy to stagger though, so any amount of aggression should do the trick here. So much damage. Get the Matting Hand. It's a weapon. And up here you see these rats. If you look over to the right, should see a bunch more messages down there. We're gonna ignore that for right now and just keep following this path southeast and just southeast really. Come back for that though. Got the map here. This very large area. Side here we got another Grace. Two more Shadow Tree fragments, which is that another one yet? No, not yet. And then the corner over here. Frenzy Flame perfume bottle. And if we go outside to the northwest, I guess, kind of behind where we picked up this map, climb up this hill. A clarifying bolus or two, and then over here in this like top right corner, northeast corner, there's, I'm blanking on the name, it's a crafting material. Eye of something. Eye of yellow maybe? Yeah, Eye of yellow. There's a couple over there you can grab, pick from the grounds. I never use those, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. And then you can see up there to the southwest on that cliff there's another item, so we'll go climb up there. Shadow Realm rune, and then we'll go south. I'm just randomly dying. I feel like the rain makes it less creepy, strangely. Sort of drowns out the like ambient creepy sounds and just makes it a little calming. Anyway, once you're out of there, go back to the sort of main path. And we'll go west now. Up to this clearing with some more rats. You can one-shot them as long as they're not paying attention. Okay, and then just keep going. Just another clearing with some more rats up ahead. Didn't one-shot you, unreal. Super rats. And then we'll go northwest, around the left side of this giant tree here. That's where we're at on the map. Just followed this river from the church. But this tree here for Ghost Glove Ward 7, and we'll just keep wrapping around this giant tree. Go northeast. I got a rune arc, hell yeah. Those like are so rare to drop from the rats. I know that they can drop them, but the time between each time that I feel like they actually drop it for me, it's almost like it fades into like being a myth again. Just like, yeah, I've heard the stories of rats dropping rune arcs. Can't remember the last time it's happened to me, and then boom, I'm reminded it's real. So yeah, now we're back on this sort of semblance of a path again, going northwest. You'll see off to our left, after this little batch of rats here, are those messages I pointed out earlier, right? Around this corner over here is where we fought the Matting Hands, while we were going from that grace down to the church. So, it's all come full circle now. For this next part, you're going to want something that can parry. If you're not the parrying type, I'd definitely recommend some kind of small shield, like a buckler or something. It's going to make your life a little easier to parry. There we go. Should work for me. So, the enemy up ahead can only be killed by parrying its grab attack and then landing a crit. You're probably... Okay, I would also recommend actually putting on the dagger talisman here. I don't know if it'll give you enough damage to one-shot it with one crit. Usually it takes 2 for me. Maybe this would increase it enough. We'll see. It's probably going to survive with like 1 HP still. But yeah, you can't actually fight it or hit it normally. They're going to kind of run at you with like a little glowing hand out in front of them and then swipe at you at the last second. You want to wait until you see the swipe to parry. If you mess it up, it's fine. There's a Stake America literally right there. The game encourages you to sneak past these guys, obviously, if you read any of the messages. I can't speak right now. And for the most part, that's the right move. But this one in particular, if you kill it, you get a talisman. So we're going to do that. Way too early. And we die. I'm not gonna lie. I could just be lacking some crucial knowledge here. Maybe there's like a good way to dodge that attack. Maybe if you like hide behind a tree. I don't know. Like I said, this is the only one that you actually like fight. Roll away from the first one. Get my bearings. Suck, dude. Just like, you don't practice parrying these things. I don't know, if anyone has like some tips for this, feel free to leave in the comments. I usually just throw myself at it and can land a parry after a couple tries usually. This isn't going particularly well for me. There we go. Oh, actually the dagger talisman gave us enough damage. Nice. So you get the Aged One's Exaltation talisman. That is like any of the other Exaltation talismans, but this one is going to increase your attack power if madness happens in the vicinity. Might be helpful for some people. What did I even have on here? Rotten Winged Insignia, that's right. Alright, so... keep going west. And this is how it normally goes with these guys. You just kind of crouch and sneak past them using the grass as cover. You want to avoid these tall plants that have like orange fruit on them, you can see, because that will alert it and it'll come running right over. I guess that one was just too far away, but take my word for it. That's fine. Maybe it's not. I forgot he teleports. Clearing's right up ahead, though. Damn, you're fast. What the hell? Yeah, so just be more patient, I guess, is the lesson we've learned today. What? It's crazy. No! Straight up ahead is the grace. That's alright. I'll just cut the video to here. Alright, anyway, right back where we were. Again, from that kind of clearing where all the messages were. Wait, which one was it? So it would have been this one probably. Yeah, just go follow this river. Then up this way. And also you can see, if you go from this grace, the Woodland Trail grace, you can also come down here, and it's, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this on the video, but there's like a faint river you can see here that you can also follow, and just come up around this way. So you don't actually have to go through the scary enemies if you don't want to. That was just the most convenient path since we were already there to kill that first one, right? But here you will find another grace. I lost too much time whiffing like 3 or 4 parries there. Thought I'd make up for it by running and did not expect him to be that fast. So that's where we're at now, right in the middle of the woods basically. And then we will go north from here first. Don't need the shield anymore either. Should see some inquisitors up here in the clearing. Off to the right here, some smithing stone 7s, and in the back corner, got another shadow tree fragments. So that one should be a level. So we're back to Abyssal Woods, so I don't have to walk all the way back. And it's not like we have a horse anymore, at least for now. Rest up, level 17. And then we'll go the same way just a little bit, but we'll turn west this time. And I will be patient this time and use the grass. They don't see me. Once again, keep an eye out for that fruit mixed in with the grass. Don't want to hit that. Should be one more of them up here somewhere. Two of them actually. See if I can demonstrate this. See, it looks right over. I think I can outrun this one though. This is such a bad idea actually. The grace is right there. We can do it. Things I do for the walkthrough. That one just didn't care. He gave up immediately. So, there we go. Divided Falls Grace. Up here in the northwest corner of the woods now. Across the water over here to the south. climb up this ridge to get behind the waterfall. Grab the Mad Craftsman's Cookbook 1. There's 3 of these cookbooks. I'm not going to bother making a tracker for this one because we'll get all 3 of them in this area, so it's really... the odds of you not collecting all 3 of them are pretty low if you're watching this video right now. And if I don't have to open Photoshop to make the tracker, this video gets to you about 10 minutes faster. Okay. Originally, when I wrote this, there is one more item. If you go from the Abyssal Woods Grace, right? You go south, and there's that sort of intersection that I died originally, like basically right where I died to the guy chasing me and grabbing me. We took a right to go up towards this Grace, but if you instead took a left to get down to this like southern path here, there is a super foggy area, also filled with the Madness guys. Winter Lanterns, they're called. And along the way, if you were to just hug the left wall as tight as you can, you should avoid all of the Winter Lanterns. And along the way off to your right, there's going to be some clarifying boluses behind a tree. Just the little things that alleviate madness buildup. That's the only other item. So instead of walking from here down to here and sneaking through all this way in danger of those guys, instead, if you don't need the clarifying boluses, which I don't, I'd recommend just going from here. From the Divided Falls, just go south, or southeast, sorry. You see these 2 guys on this like land bridge? This is where we want to be, so, you know, just pointing that item out so no one says that I missed it, but it's really not worth the effort in my opinion. And if you were to follow that ledge, it's the one I'm looking at right now. So yeah, you just keep that to your left and you would eventually meet up with where we're standing right now. Whichever way you go, the next thing you want to do is go in the southwest corner. See some more Inquisitors wandering around. Take out that one and start climbing this hill. And you, I suppose, hop up here. And you really just want to go east pretty much just about as far as you can go up here. Until you get to the very large tree here at the back. And if you check behind it, you will find probably one of the most missed key items in the DLC, I would have to imagine. But that is cookbook number 2 of 3 for that one. I just feel like by the time you get all the way down to this corner, having started way over here, or up there rather, you've probably just given up on exploring by this point, because it's like you've checked behind every tree just to find nothing. So disheartening. But backtrack west a bit until you can safely drop down to the left, and then we'll go south. You can see a building in the distance. That is Midra's Manse, which is going to be the legacy dungeon for this area. No comments on the yard decorations. So, just a quick pause before we go in. In the future, when you're doing this area, you know, if you're running a madness build, you probably do want to go and parry that one guy that drops the madness talisman. Otherwise, the route I would realistically run here is Forsaken Graveyard. You start right, go down the Woodland Trail, kill the Madding Hand guy, get down to the church so you can get the Shadow Tree fragments, obviously. And then I would probably just go back to Woodland Trail, just warp there, and take this path going west to get to the Abyssal Woods Grace. North of there to get the other Shadow Tree fragment. And then back to Abyssal Woods. West, obviously gotta sneak past a couple of the Winter Lanterns, but that'll get you up to Divided Falls. You get the cookbook if you want, and from Divided Falls, basically just a straight shot south. There's that ridge you can climb up to the east to get the other cookbook, or just go straight for Midra's Manse where we're at right now. But once you're inside, go off to the right immediately, get a swollen grape. Grab the grace. You can go talk to the Phantom if you want, but you don't have to. Whenever you are ready, through the illusory wall here on the left. Check the first room on the left. Have a torn diary page. Take those guys out, climb up the bookshelves behind them. A couple more swollen grapes. Then out here, there's going to be a horned warrior patrolling. Take it out. Even these phantom ones can drop their armor sometimes, so might get lucky. Keep going down this hallway into this fireplace room, and then I usually just ignore these guys, honestly. There's guys spamming some frenzied flame from upstairs, but then these bones by the fireplace. And here we got another horned warrior to deal with. Go. And then we'll go back in the southwest corner over here. Find a lever. And then once you pull it, you just hug the wall to your right to get to where we need to be. And you will eventually come upon a ladder. Climb up here, carefully walk over these rafters, get the Shadow Realm Rune 6. It's here. Just wrap all the way around. Get some surging frenzied flames. Those are like the frenzied flame version of glintstone scraps, basically. That's what was going off down there, downstairs in the fireplace room. Then we can climb this ladder and walk across these beams all the way to the end to get a grace. Once you have that to come back to, we'll backtrack to the beams. Throw on a lantern. And you can jump over into this dark room on the left. And there's cookbook 3 of 3. So that is that whole collection complete, and then back to the grease. Go west, enter the library, check right immediately, kill an enemy. And then jump over to this bookshelf, make another running jump to this thing in the middle. Hole in the horn tender, one more jump. Down here you got Shadow Realm Rune 7, there's a guy, I hear him but I can't see him. There you are. And over here to the west, a couple more swollen grapes, and then we'll go all the way to the east side of the room. You can fight through the other Inquisitors over here if you want. Don't really have to. I guess there's only the one left. And then crack open these doors for a shortcut back to the first grace. Right where we entered. Then, another illusory wall. Climb up the stairs and up the next ladder. Pull a lever and that's going to move that bookshelf in the back right corner. So make a running jump. This thing. One more over here. Another. And another to get up here. One more gap to worry about. There we go. And you can loot the corpse in the chair for Anaya's torch. And then if you can, feel free to cheese these guys with range from up here. Otherwise, you can just drop down and fight them the old-fashioned way. That one will give you a revered spirit ash. And then this is not the right way. Well, I guess I'll show you this. This just takes you back downstairs now that that bookshelf is out of the way. But to proceed, go southeast through this other exit and up the stairs. And then just ignore these guys. Race to the next room, so don't risk dying. Actually, I'm pretty damn close to a level up, so I will kill them. Not quite. One more should do it. There we go. More endurance, why not? Okay, so kick down this ladder here. In case you missed the jump. Hop to the chandelier to get another revered spirit ash. You can hop back down, climb the ladder to get back to the grace, and in the next room we'll fight the boss, so make preparations now. It's going to be Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame. Pretty resistant to fire, as you might imagine, but just about everything else should work alright. To start the fight, you're going to have to kill his human form, which is very simple, and then a cutscene will play shortly after, but you have a window to like use a buff or drink a flask or something after you kill him, so it's not not under much pressure, not much of a time crunch there. When the real fight starts, you're gonna have to dodge a couple waves of Frenzied Flame spam, but just try to like get behind the boss as quickly as possible. And most of his attacks, if you're close to him, are just pretty simple swings from his greatsword, and the more complicated stuff can usually be ignored if you're just behind him. So I would kind of approach the fight similarly to how you fought, or how I recommended you fight Mesmer, to just roll forward and behind the boss as often as possible. He does have a grab attack where he's going to do a big jumping attack where he impales you with his sword. If you dodge the impale, the slam, you'll have to roll again afterwards to dodge like a follow-up AoE spike attack. But if the slam hits you, the follow-up will just hit you automatically. And then after, I don't know, around 70% health, I think, if I remember right, he goes to phase 2 where he floats into the air and turns into a ball of fire and then slams the ground to make a huge explosion. As soon as he starts floating, start running away. Try to time a roll with the explosion to be safe. But let's get started. Alright, so that's phase 1, I guess, if you want to call it that. Oh, one other thing that popped in my mind. In phase 2, he has another dangerous attack where he makes like a floating orb of fire next to him, kind of like Flame of the Fell God, the incantation we have, where it's going to like track you and then blow up after a second. Just try to run away from it, or if you want, you can be super aggressive and time a roll to get some damage if you want to stay close to the boss. But yeah, that's really the only one that should be taking you far away from him. Skip this cutscene though, even though it's pretty cool. You see, like, he's got that little wave of frenzied flame in front of him, right? So that's why staying behind him is kind of nice. You can usually avoid most of that. Here comes phase 2. Same thing, you just want to stay close to him, stay behind him, and he's mostly just going to do his kind of bread and butter sword swings. Oof, thought I could outrun that. I feel like he's due for trying the grab attack at some point here. Haven't seen it yet. Getting annihilated right now. There's so much damage. Not the prison shank. There's the big fireball. Worth it. So, yeah, I mean, he hits really hard. I feel like there's really not too much to dodging him. I was getting really aggressive because I like very long combos with this particular setup I have. Probably would have gone smoother if I just stuck to Milady like I usually do, but that's alright. So you get the Remembrance of the Lord of Frenzied Flame. You can trade for the Great Sword of Damnation or an incantation called Midra's Flame of Frenzy. Yeah, I don't know, not much else to say about that. He can be a lot harder if you come here early, but at Erdtree Blessing 17 should go down fairly quickly, as you saw there. And with that, we're done with Abyssal Woods. Honestly, the episode I think I was dreading the most, except for maybe Shadowkeep. I like Shadowkeep though, it's just very long. That's the only reason I was dreading actually making the episode. But this area I just don't like at all. So, it's done now though. It's great. So, I'll see you guys next time for the Hinterlands. Have a good one.